Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars video. This one is going over some pretty depressing but important news regarding the future of Star Wars, Ahsoka Episode 4, which I have a lot to say about, and some more great news regarding Episode 5 of Ahsoka, so let's just jump right into it. And if I could ask if you could quickly give this video a like, as it really does help out the channel a lot, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's start positive and with the good, and then I'll get on to the more unfortunate but not so surprising news. Ahsoka Episode 4 just released, and wow, what an episode. Ahsoka is gearing up to be my favorite Star Wars show. At the moment, The Mandalorian Season 2 holds my #1 spot, but Ahsoka is catching up quickly and will more than likely become first on my list if the season continues to get better and better, as it has. Episode 4 blew me away. There are so many great aspects about it that it's going to be difficult to give every single one of my thoughts on it. Something that stuck out to me the most was how good the character of Baylan has been in this show. He doesn't seem conflicted with the light or dark side, but rather seems to have found a balance between the two. He's doing what he personally believes is right for the greater good of the galaxy, even if this means starting another war. As he said, you must destroy in order to rebuild, and this is a very interesting philosophy Baylan is carrying. It feels like any scene he is present in, a big weight lingers because of him. Then we have his apprentice, Shin, who pretty much has two brain cells activated, one for attack and the other for defense. This scene wasn't meant to be funny, at least I don't think it was, but when she sees Sabine is captured and immediately goes to force choking her, I don't know why, but I found that hilarious because she's basically like a dog on a leash and Baylan is the owner, just trying to keep her a bit more sophisticated. And speaking of which, I thought the duel between Shin and Sabine was much better than the one in the first episode. It was great seeing Sabine use her Mandalorian techniques to her advantage rather than trying to play the role of a Jedi. Her faking out using the Force to then blast Shin was great, and I hope we see more of this type of fighting. On the other hand, we have the Ahsoka and Baylan duel after she absolutely smoked Merrick, and once again, this fight showed just how sophisticated Baylan is as a character. He's going to do what he personally believes is right at the end of the day, but he does not want to kill or even fight Ahsoka, because he still clearly cares about the Jedi religion, and killing one would make their already low population even lower. I find that aspect very intriguing, and with this, Ahsoka is the first to ignite her lightsaber, in which Baylan responds with,
"How inevitable."
He seems almost disappointed in Ahsoka and was maybe hoping she would negotiate and try to work something out, but with everything that's going on, Ahsoka is desperate and even uses the dark side in some way against Shin. This is where Baylan stops playing nice and decides to end it all for Ahsoka. Meanwhile, Sabine, in her own desperation and desire to find Ezra, she lets the enemy succeed and walks with them as a hostage. I love that Baylan kept his word about not harming her and, like I said, quickly stopped Shin from hurting Sabine. It adds more to this trait of being a sort of gray Jedi that I talked about in a previous video. I know a lot of people don't like that term, but I feel if they were to incorporate it into canon, Baylan would be a great example of such. And one last note on the villains, I love that they were actually winning. It's very rare in Star Wars for this to happen, but with how compelling Baylan and the rest are, it is nice to see this change of pace. And with all of this leads to the elephant in the room, that is Anakin Skywalker. We have known for a good while now that he will be showing up in this show, but so far with this episode, the way he is being implemented is perfect. He doesn't appear as a Force ghost, so that raises a lot of questions, and my theory is that right before Ahsoka died, or, right before she fell into the water, he pulled her into the world between worlds. The big question now is, what will happen from here? I think the two being in the world between worlds definitely means we are going to see some wacky things in Episode 5. This could be alternate timelines, Ahsoka seeing her past and maybe even future and trying to change it, and who knows, I've always liked the theory that in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, when Ahsoka speaks to Rey, this could actually be Ahsoka doing this through the world between worlds, so imagine if they connected this show to that moment in the sequel trilogy. Some may call it a certified Star Wars war crime, and some might have a complete meltdown, and then there might be some that actually appreciate it. But man, seeing Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker in his Revenge of the Sith look, and yes, that is his Skywalker lightsaber that he's carrying, that is his normal hilt. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of debate on if it was Vader's hilt for some reason, but if you look at it closely, it very clearly is his Revenge of the Sith lightsaber. But Anakin just talking to Ahsoka was was amazing. If you told me this 10 years ago, I would have called you crazy. I think it's so far implemented well, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just a cameo, it's just fan service. I don't agree with that at all. I wouldn't consider Anakin Skywalker talking to Ahsoka Tano and trying to help her anywhere close to a cameo or fan service. That it's purposeful to the story and makes complete sense. But episode 4 of Ahsoka honestly was almost perfect, and it's been a long time since I've been this happy with a Star Wars product. Star Wars has been pretty rough lately, but this show so far is rebuilding a lot of my hope that this franchise can be amazing once again. There's a lot of speculation we can do for episode 5 and beyond, but for me, the most exciting thing about this is, other than 9 seconds from all the trailer footage that's been released, we are going into the rest of this season blind. We have not seen any other scenes, images, anything like that from episode 5 to episode 8. So guys, let me know in the comments down below what you thought on episode 4 of Ahsoka. And now with that, let's get into some news. We have some really good news and some really bad news. We'll start with a quick segment, and that is that episode 5 of Ahsoka is going to be screened at select theaters. So clearly something major is going to happen, and Lucasfilm must be very confident in this one. The episode is going to run right around 50 minutes long and is once again directed by Dave Filoni, so you know we're in for a wild ride. I cannot wait. So now to the really disappointing news. The next Star Wars show that was planned to release after Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, has been delayed. And with this will more than likely come with everything else in the Star Wars lineup also being delayed. Words can't explain how frustrating this is. This is happening because the CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, is still refusing to pay the writers a fair amount of what they deserve. He said some horrible things about the strikes, and let's not forget who was solely responsible for the issues with the sequel trilogy. We can blame Kathleen, we can blame JJ or Ryan, but the truth is, if you have read his book, it really comes down to Bob Iger. So I already have an established bias against him because of this, but now that due to his greediness, Star Wars is going to have a major drought, I can't fathom how anyone can continuously defend him when it comes to his handling of not just Lucasfilm and Star Wars, but Disney as a whole. Skeleton Crew wrapped up filming right around January or February and was originally planned to be released sometime at the end of this year, but according to Bespin Bulletin, this delay may be pretty severe. There is a chance that we do not get another Star Wars show until the end of next year, which frustrates me to no end, considering the show is pretty much completed. But again, due to greediness, everything is being set to the side until further notice. It is ridiculous, and I hope major consequences come from this. So hopefully, the leads at Disney can learn something. There is still a chance that Skeleton Crew is only delayed by a few months, but I believe this is solely dependent on how the strikes go. So 2024 still holds place for The Acolyte, which I cannot wait for, and Mandalorian Season 4 should still release in early of 2025. But with everything going on, it is a bit early to tell if this is set in stone. At the end of it all, it's just egregious, and I'm sure Lucasfilm feels the same way. They just have these products basically sitting in a hard drive somewhere, waiting to be published to Disney Plus, waiting to get those trailers out. But again, due to greed and just, in my opinion, moronic decisions, it's not going to happen that way. But with that, I do apologize for bringing the bad news, but it is important. At the very end of it all, I am loving Ahsoka. I think Dave Filoni is doing a great job with it, and I'm sure many of you guys feel the same. I cannot wait for episode 5. I'm just counting down the days till next Tuesday because it feels so far away, even though it's just a few days away. I am loving this show so far. I'm curious on what you guys think about it down below, so please be sure and let me know in the comments. But I thank you all for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please be sure and leave a like on it, as it really does help out the channel a lot. And if you are new, why don't you go ahead and subscribe for more Star Wars news, theories, essays, and more, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.